If you need milk and yogurt to make yogurt, then how was yogurt made in the first place? Coming right up. Hey guys, welcome, and today I want to show you how to make yogurt at home with only two simple products. But before I move on, let's answer that first question. How is yogurt made? Now, where does the word yogurt come from? Well, according to one of my favorite books about food science by Harold McGee called On Food and On Cooking, you should check it out, it's great. It actually is the word Turkish, meaning milk that has been fermented into a custard or a semi-solid mass. Also, according to this book, the way milk turned into yogurt is a fascinating story. So people back thousands of years ago in East Asia and India, when they started to travel from one place to another, they would carry in their animals with them these big containers with milk. But these containers were made out of the inside of the lining of the stomach of animals. So inside of the lining of the stomach of these animals, there's this bacteria present that turns or starts the fermentation process from milk into yogurt, and people were not aware of it. So as they were moving throughout the day and the milk would start to get warm, it was the perfect condition for the fermentation process to start kicking in, and then by the end of the day, they would have yogurt or curdled milk, and they actually started kind of liking it. So that's how it all started. Now, making yogurt is a very simple process. I would call it maybe a three-step process. Heating the milk, cooling the milk, and then letting it ferment. Now, where you let it ferment, that's your choice, or depending on what you have at home. But for myself, I do it in a sous vide machine under water bath because it speeds up the process. It actually makes it between 4 to 6 hours instead of letting it for 12 hours. The longer you let your yogurt sit or ferment, the tangier it will become. So depending on how tangy you like your yogurt, it will depend on how long you're gonna let it sit. So in order to make the yogurt, we need a yogurt culture. Now it depends on what you like, but like I don't like any flavored yogurt. I actually like to put flavors into the yogurt after the fact. So if you go ahead and get a vanilla flavored yogurt, then you're gonna get vanilla flavored yogurt. So depending on what you like I said, it's up to you. But I like a whole milk plain yogurt, no non-fat, none of that stuff. So I try to get as full of a fat of a yogurt as I can. For 1 gallon of milk, maybe about 3 tablespoons of this yogurt will work just fine to make that 1 gallon of milk. So in order to make the yogurt, we gotta keep in mind two important temperatures, 180 and 110. Now, a lot of people do it at 110 and they don't bring it up all the way to 120. Depends on what milk you have and how thick you want your yogurt. If you bring up your milk up to 180 degrees or even boil it for a little bit, what that does is that makes a firmer yogurt. If you just bring it up all the way to 110, then what that's gonna end up is gonna make you a looser yogurt. I don't personally like a loose yogurt, so I bring it up to 180 and then let it cool down for about an hour or two, and then I add the culture, mix it up, whisk it, and then I pour it into these beautiful jars, and then dunk them right in under the water in the sous vide machine, and then leave them in there for about 6 hours at 110 degrees. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Okay, so for this recipe, I'm going to make 2 full gallons of milk into yogurt because like I said, we consume a lot of yogurt here and I make enough for 1 week. So the next step is to pour the milk into this pot and start heating it up to 180. And we're gonna leave it there for about 10 minutes or so at that temperature and then turn the heat off and let it cool down until it goes down to 110. And then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn the oven on medium heat. You don't want to turn this on medium high or high because of you don't want to run the chances of burning the milk into the bottom of the pot and then you ruin the whole thing. So you want to make sure you stay here because you want to stir every now and then to make sure that nothing is getting scorched or burnt on the bottom of the pot. So same thing on this side. So this requires a little bit of patience, but it can be done in 15 to 20 minutes. So after that, you can just sit and relax and wait for it to cool down. So the closer it gets to the temperature, the more you want to stay close to the milk, because that's when it can start burning really, really quick. So you want to pay attention at this stage. It's very, very important. So we're right around the desired temperature. So I'm going to let this sit over here for about 5 more minutes or so. Like I said, the longer you let it sit around this temperature, the firmer the yogurt. So if you just pull it out right when it reaches 180, then it's going to be firm, but not as firm. But if you let it sit there for about 5 to 10 minutes at that temperature, then you're going to have a much more firmer yogurt. Okay, so now that the milk has come up to the desired temperature, 180, 182, it's been there for around 5 to 10 minutes. I pulled it aside from the stove because I don't want it to sit there, because it could take a lot longer sitting in there to get colder than here. This is a granite countertop, so I generally, what I do is like I move it every 10-15 minutes into a different spot, and then it it cools down faster. You can cool it down faster by doing a water bath or ice bath, but I don't really mind. So while this is taking its time and cooling down, I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy some fresh cucumbers out of my farm in the backyard with some tagine. And here we go. So good. You gotta try it. Trust me. Hey guys, so it's been about an hour and a half since I turned off the milk from the oven, and let's go ahead and check it out right now, see what the temperature is. So it's right around 110, right there. So this is perfect. We don't want it to go any lower and not any higher for sure. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to put a little bit of milk over here onto this bowl, and then mix it up with some of the yogurt, and then add it back in here. Whisk it up, and then we're gonna start pouring into jars. Okay guys, now that we have all the jars filled up with the milk and the yogurt mixture, now we're ready to start making the yogurt. Now we have two choices. We can either put them straight in here, or we can do the traditional method, which you put them in a hot water bath in a container like this, or maybe in a pot, and then you wrap that with some blankets or something. However, if you don't have that, don't sweat it, just wrap it with a blanket, keep it in a warm place, and you're just gonna have to leave it, instead of 6 hours, you're gonna have to wait for maybe 12 hours for it to get done. But everything from here, it's very easy. So let's go ahead and turn the machine on. I've set it at 109 Fahrenheit, and this is the current temperature of the water right now. So it's about almost 86 Fahrenheit. So by the time we add all of these jars, the temperature should be close to 109. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to add this lid down here, because I want to elevate this jar to the same level as this over here, because these are slightly higher or taller than this one, and I don't want this to sit underwater. So to compensate that, I'm adding a jar right there, and then it's floating above the water. Okay guys, so we're right around 6 hours right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn this off and unplug it just for safety. And now we take all of this one by one, basically put them on the counter for about an hour and let them, as you can see, it's nice and set and jiggly. We're gonna leave them for about an hour on the counter to rest and kind of cool down a little bit, and then I'm gonna put them overnight in the refrigerator. And tomorrow they'll be ready to eat. Okay guys, so here we are one day later. So we got 5 full jars, which is awesome because I'm good for about 10 days. Let's give it a quick taste and see what it looks like. How it tastes. Look at that. As you can see, you got the cream onto the top. This is my favorite part. I love eating this. Look at the consistency of it. It's nice and thick. Look at it. Beautiful. Absolutely delicious. Slightly tangy. Perfect. I promise, if you make this at home, you'll never go back to the store and buy more yogurt. It's so good. So, thank you so much for sticking around till the end of this video. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing so you don't miss more videos like this. Next time, it's going to be how to make tzatziki sauce out of this yogurt that we just made today. So, stick around for more. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.